Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Simply Done Concierge. Folks, we talk all week. There is no way to create more hours, but with Simply Done Concierge in the team, you can be in two places at one time. You may need to be at work or somewhere else. We can come in, do some meal prep, do some unpacking, pet sitting services, all kinds of things that can help you be in two places at once. So if you go to simplydoneconcierge.com, let us know how we can help you. I know we'll be able to make you more productive during your day. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the surrounding towns. 32 chapters meet every week, and our goal is to help each other grow our businesses. And our local small business success story this week is Neal Henry with Farm Bureau Insurance. His group Carpex is a core group, so they are trying to become a full-fledged BNI chapter, which they will, no doubt. They meet Wednesday mornings at 8:30 at the Keller Williams Legacy office in Apex. Good morning, Neal. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. Doing good. Coffee's in, so we're good to go.
There you go, man. How many cups each morning do you need?
Oof, probably two
All right.
in the morning, and
Now,
then a couple in the afternoon.
there you go. See, I like that too. I'm late to the coffee club. I didn't get in till about my mid 40s. My wife's family, huge coffee drinkers. I watch them all the time. Tried it one time. I find out if I
Yep.
put the right creamer in there, I'm good to go. But excuse me, I'm a decaf guy. So when I go to
Yeah.
Starbucks, I always disappoint them. But I
No,
kind of like the iced coffee. The more I drink it, the more I kind of like the iced coffee.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, coffee tastes terrible, so you have to put creamer in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I go to Starbucks, I can't figure out what like the venti or
yeah.
whatever it is. I just tell them small, medium, or large.
That's what I
So,
do.
or extra large if they have it.
I think
Yeah.
that's grande or close to it. Yeah.
There you go.
That's how I drink my sweet tea in a grande cup.
Yeah, yeah. I usually go place, biggest one you got.
Yeah, yeah. I just walk in and do this. You have one of
That's
those?
right.
But yeah, so I was late to the call. It's good. I like it in the morning, but sometimes what I'll do when my wife leaves for work, I'll turn the coffee pot off, let it cool down a little bit, and I'll just put it in the fridge. And later on in the afternoon, I'll have some iced coffee. So I kind of like that.
I've never tried that, so
Yeah,
I might have to jump on that train one day.
there you go. There you go. All right. So insurance agents. We know you have such an easy life. People call you all the time. They're buying Teslas, they're buying $1,000,000
Yeah.
policies, right? Can I assume that, and you've been doing this for about 3.5 years now, can I assume that probably in seventh grade at the career fair, your first set or second choice was not an insurance agent at the time?
Yes, sir. You can assume correctly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct.
So we'll get to how you got there, but
Yeah,
I've heard, I think you've said it, I've heard other agents say it, that most everybody has a policy, but not everybody has correct coverage.
correct. Yes, sir.
And you have one of those jobs where most of us go, I got something, I don't know what I have, but I got what I'm supposed to have. And man, we
Hmm.
need way more
Hmm.
sometimes we're supposed to have. I know you get those calls, right?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. Then I try to inform the customer of what they have. I don't want to oversell or undersell. I just want to make sure that they're covered if something were to happen.
Yeah, because a lot of that has to do, it's not just a car is a car. I mean, I
Right.
drive a 2004 Toyota Camry. I think it's a Camry, and my wife just bought a new Kia Sorento. So those are gonna
Mhm.
be different, but our kids are gone. When we had
Right.
kids, our insurance coverage probably should have been a little different, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Now,
That's correct. Yes, sir.
do people call you? Do they ever get to the point of, "Hey, here's what I got," or do you have to ask them, "What's going on in life? What's important to you?"
No, a little bit of both. So it's more so of hey, here's what I got. some of the time they ask, do you have any suggestions
Mhm.
that, what would you do if you're in this situation? Um, am I covered correctly? And I always speak about, especially homeowners insurance and total loss.
Yeah.
So if a total loss were to happen, we want to make sure that you can build back what you have and not, not anything worse.
And that conversation is a subtle difference, but it's subtle like the size of the Grand Canyon because there's
Hmm.
2 ways of saying that, and one way and I forget what the phrase is, but one of those ways is not total rebuild.
Correct. Correct. Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
so and people think, "Well, they told me this is all I need," and that's not the case, right? They need to ask a couple more
Mhm.
questions.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I make sure that so in dealing with homeowners insurance, I make sure that I have the correct square footage. We have a program, it's called a RCE, it's a residential cost estimator. I don't make up these numbers off the top of my head. So we put we put the square footage in there, ask the customer, do you have anything customized, from floors to countertops. Then we make sure that they're covered from anywhere from $170 to $200 a square foot, to rebuild their home.
Should we look at certain valuables in the house, jewelry, I guess any paintings that you may have, and
Yeah,
insure those in not in another policy, I don't think that's the right word, but should we put extra insurance on those?
yes, sir. So there's a limit on everything. There's a limit on jewelry. There's a limit on firearms. There's a limit on money. So jewelry has, a specific limit, and you can list those out. So if you think about it from an insurance standpoint, if you have a total loss in your house, and you tell me after the fact, well, I had a $20,000 ring. Well, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We can't just assume that that you had a $20,000 ring, that you had a $10,000 watch, that you had a $20,000 painting. So you got to list those just to make sure that everything's covered in the case of a total loss.
And I heard one day that it's probably a good idea every now and then to walk through your house with a video camera, now your cell
Yeah,
phone,
yeah,
and just
yeah,
kinda
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Would you recommend people do
Mhm.
that?
Mhm. Yeah, I think so. It doesn't have to be every day, and you don't have to list everything, but um, yeah, it would definitely help because if you have a total loss, you're going to get a check from an insurance company for personal property, and it's just going to be a big check, and you're going to have to figure out, okay, well, I need to start from scratch. Okay, what did I have in my cabinets? What did I have in my laundry room? What did I have in my bedroom? What did I have in this room or that room? So yeah, it never hurts to at least do that, once, every 3 or 4 years. And if you buy something, like, I think my dad, they bought some new knives. My dad couldn't understand why they needed more knives, but my mom bought knives the other day. So, hey, we need to put that to make sure in case of a total loss, that we can, rebuild, or we can have those things again.
Yeah. And the mementos, though, when your two-year-old drew something and, those are the things that really should put prices on because you can't redo
Right,
that
right.
when they're
Yeah,
15,
yeah,
but I don't know that the
yeah.
insurance world is there yet, right?
No, sir. No, sir. We're not there yet. Anything that, yeah, you have a child draw, I would put it in a safe. So
Yeah,
that's very valuable.
yeah,
A fire resistant safe.
good point. Learned something the other day. There's a gentleman that joined another BNI chapter in the pet insurance seat.
Ooh,
Didn't
all right.
know I know the pet world is big, but I did not know
Yeah.
I guess you can sell pet insurance, right?
Yeah, I get. We don't sell pet insurance. That's the only. We might through brokerage, but that's the only thing that Farm Bureau itself doesn't sell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
Um,
guess if you want it, you can get it. So,
yeah. Yeah, because I get boats and cars and stuff like that. The pet one
right.
is interesting. I didn't wanna get into the dog versus cat conversation because I don't wanna offend anybody, but I'm happy to offend people if you like,
Right.
the other kind, but I
Yeah,
guess you could put a price on a pet, right? There's gotta be an
I,
industry standard?
I'm assuming so. I don't think you'll, if it's a rare breed, I'm not sure that
Yep,
you'll get that amount of money back.
yep,
But yeah, I would have to, ask somebody that's above my pay grade
yep,
about pet
yep.
insurance.
I was just surprised to hear that, but the guy really wanted in BNI, and somebody else had the property and casualty seat like you have, and he thought, "I'll take the pet insurance seat." I'm like, "Alright, good for you, man." In your, short but very busy time, A, at Farm Bureau, B, just in the insurance world in general, what has surprised you most in a good way?
um, Surprised me most in a good way. Oh boy, Mike, I know you prepped me for questions, but
Yeah,
not these hard, not this hard. With Farm Bureau, it's more so of but we just take care of people.
yeah,
We just that's the biggest thing, and it's not. It doesn't. We inform people what they have, and we just want to make sure we take care of people. Like I said, if if they don't have enough coverage, then we want to make sure that they do, because if they were to be in a situation where they would have paid $6 a month more for more coverage,
yep,
you just want to make sure that they're covered, and you want to throw out all the options whenever somebody switches over, whenever you're talking with, especially car insurance with somebody. You want to make sure that they know, okay, if A, B, and C happens, that you'll be covered, but if D happens, you
mhm,
won't be covered. um so yeah, but Farm Bureau was just a personal relationship. I've had Farm Bureau my whole life. My dad worked with our life insurance company for 37 years. I've never known anything else, and I'll never switch to anything else, because it's just the way you communicate with your agent. It's second to none.
yeah, and I will tell folks if you've not heard from your agent at least every, what, 6 to 9 months, Neil, you need to call and
Yeah,
find out why they're not talking to you.
that's right.
Uh,
Auto renews twice a year, and homes renew once a year. So
yep,
that's at least three touches that
yep,
we can,
I hear it,
call.
but it makes sense because things change and we forget to
Hmm.
tell you what we've added or deleted,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that little, bit can make a difference. So here's my public service announcement on auto insurance. So I bought, what are we, 2023 now? This had to have been, golly, 5 years ago maybe. It was before COVID. It was a couple years before COVID. I bought a minivan, which I've never been a car guy, so I don't look at I think the Mustang's the coolest car ever, but I don't really care what I drive, and I like minivans because I can sit up high and I can carry a lot of stuff and a lot of people. So I went and bought the minivan, and the guy at the dealership said, "Do you want gap insurance?" I'm like, "Ah, I'm good." And about 3.5 months later, man, I got T-boned. That car was totaled, cost me
Hmm.
$2,400 out of pocket.
Right.
So, people, if somebody says, "Do you want gap insurance?" say yes. It'll save you at least
Yes. Yes.
$2,300.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
And
And any
it would have cost me, what, $60 maybe?
right, right. So yeah, like you're saying, we get changes all the time. We do it the old school way, where, if a customer calls in to, hey, I bought a new 2023 Tesla. If they haven't talked to me, we have four ladies up front that are outstanding, and they say, the changes in my box, Mike Manning, 2023 Tesla, and we have this coverage called RRC, which is repair, replace, just like gap insurance. And we want to make sure that that is at least talked about. Hey,
Mhm.
did you get gap insurance from them? Okay, well, we have this endorsement for, like you said, $40 every 6 months
Yeah.
that we can add on there, so you're not upside down. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was not happy when I found out that I made the wrong decision. So
Right.
alright, so before you got into insurance, you were a baseball coach and a
Yes,
recruiting
sir.
coordinator. I assume going back to the 7th grade, career fair, you were closer to being a baseball coach than an insurance agent, maybe?
No, it was before seventh grade. Yeah, yeah, it was way before seventh grade. It was, you know, 5 years old, I want to be a major league baseball player. Then,
Oh,
yeah, I realized once I got to college, yeah, in high school I was okay. I'm never going to tell you, you know, I was okay. But you know, I started getting older, and the players started getting better. I was like, I'm not as good as these players, so maybe you know, college. We'll
yeah.
just stick with college.
I still
So,
I still contend, we have my wife and I have 2 boys that both played, or youngest one played T-ball. I still contend that's the greatest level of youth sports because you've got kids who have some kids have no idea what they're doing. The batting
mhm,
helmet looks like it could go to their waist if it got past their shoulders, it's that big on them. And
right.
then the attention span in the field, Neil, is it doesn't even start, right, with some of the kids.
No,
They're
sir.
like,
No, no. Yeah. My little 5-year-old is in T-ball right now, and speaking of the helmet, she runs, you know, around the bases holding her helmet because it's. I thought it was the right size, but I guess not. So,
we had when our youngest son, Cameron, was playing T-ball, one game, it was windy, and the second baseman was standing in the dirt, taking his glove and dragging it on the ground to kick up dirt, and he would just watch it go up into the air with the winds. "Billy, Billy, pay attention," right? And then we had an outfielder one time, and, everybody else is in the outfield, so you could have, what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in
right.
the outfield, right? So there was a ball hit to the fence, which doesn't happen often, but there's a good legit
Mhm.
ball hit to the fence, and he ran and put his glove on it and wouldn't let anybody else touch it, and the 3 runners on the other team just rounded the base. He just put his glove
Hey,
on the
that's
ball, "It's
a
mine,"
step one.
and we're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Throw okay, fine, yeah." It's like,
yeah,
but
yeah. Step one is finding it. Yep.
I love T-ball because they wanted to slide into a base to get dirty, and then
Hmm.
what are the snacks after the game?
That's right. That's right. Definitely a Capri Sun. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah.
definitely
Even back
best
in
juices ever invented.
yeah, so Cameron this was 1995, 1996, so even back then, it was the drink for snacks at the
Oh
end of the
yeah,
game, yeah.
yeah. We should
Uh,
have invested in Capri Sun.
so are you a coach yet of your daughter's team?
So 2 years ago, when she played, she was what, three at the time, three going to be four. Yeah, I coached then, but I coached long enough. I just sit on the side and video. It's not good. She's only 5. She doesn't understand video, but I just
Yep,
sit over there and video her swing. And I really don't say anything either. Like, you know, you have those moms or, you know, that are yelling, or those dads that are yelling, come on, hit the ball, run, do this, do that. And I literally just sit back over there and just video
yep,
and just watch.
yeah. They'll come to you with questions. It's li I'm with
Oh
you.
yeah.
They're 5. We're not
Yeah.
talking strategy yet, right? "Hey, dad,
Yeah.
how about that hit and run I pulled off?" Like, "No,
Yeah.
no, we're not there yet." So
Yeah, I'm sitting there with my little 5-year-old on the phone. I'm like, hey, when you stride, make sure your hands are up, not low. You know, you're low, so you're not. I'm like,
yeah,
she's 5.
yeah. I know, I know, and finally just like
Breaking down video with my 5-year-old.
yeah,
Yeah,
then you realize, like, just go have a good time,
yeah,
Go get
and she's a
dirty.
girl,
Yeah,
so yeah.
yep, go get dirty and everything. But I
Yeah,
love
yeah, I'm breaking it down. Mike, she's like, "Ooh, I like my batting gloves." I'm like, "Okay."
but I love T-ball, and so that was 1995, so we're
Yeah,
going on what, almost 28 years? Still my
yeah.
favorite level of youth sports. Oh my god, that was so much fun, so alright, so you coached some kids who are probably showing some skill sets in T-ball. You were an
Right.
assistant coach and recruiting coordinator at North Carolina Central.
Hmm.
So, let's real quick go to the transition from the baseball world to insurance.
Hmm.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been a Farm Bureau guy my whole life. And then in 2019, the end of 2019, I was faced with an issue of keep coaching and never see my child, or
Yeah,
find something else. So my dad has always told me, and I get on to him now, he's always told me, he's like, I think you'd be a good agent. I think you'd be a good agent. And, you know, 3 years into this, I'm like, Dad, why didn't you tell me this before? You know? Here I am being a recruiting coordinator at the Division 1 school, having to drive for Uber on our off season because you know newsflash, coaches don't make much money. So yeah, I did that, and the 2020, I went and interviewed at a couple spots and landed in Fuquay. Walked in here, it was like, the first place I walked into, it was okay, but there, the the vibe wasn't great. And I walked in here, it's like walking into, I'm not going to say it's walking into Tennessee because that place is awful, but it's like walking into Alabama.
Hey.
Like the University of Alabama football facility. I'm like, I'll take this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not giving any credit to Tennessee.
Nah.
Tennessee's like, it's like Ole Miss is right here, and then Tennessee's right.
I'm
Yeah.
good as long as you're not a Gator fan. I'm good with you. We'd end the interview right now if you're a Gator, you wouldn't be on here. So consider
Yeah, yeah.
consider
I
yourself
wish I
lucky.
was a Gator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good with Ole Miss. I got no problem with Ole Miss. So
Yeah,
uh
I'm not.
all right.
So
So recruiting coordinator at a level that North Carolina Central is on.
mhm.
How did you guys find players at that level that wanted to play at this school, at this level, all that? Because recruiting's a bear, even when you are the Alabamas and the Notre Dames and the USCs of the world.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Recruiting being a bear, I think Kirby Smart said it's 80% or 90% recruiting and 10% coaching. So if you want to be a better coach, get better players. So at our level at North Carolina Central, I think there's 18 Division I baseball teams in North Carolina. So we were usually number 17 or 18 on kids' choices. A lot of our guys came from their senior year, yet not having anywhere else to go. Let's see how many we have. Three guys in the minor leagues currently that were not signed until their senior year.
Wow.
One's in AAA. One was drafted in the 10th round by the Rays, and the other one, I think he signed a free agent deal 2 years ago, and he's in AA with the Giants.
Hey, that's pretty
Um,
cool.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's very cool to see, to follow those kids. But recruiting in North Carolina Central, you know, you kind of learn every year of what you need to do. After the first couple of years, I flew out to Texas to a junior college tournament. Yeah, were there players out there that could play for us? Absolutely, but we didn't get in. I flew. I'm going to this place and that place, and then after my first or second year, I'm like 95 is 20 minutes that way, and it goes all the way up to further than New York City and as far down as you want to go in Florida. So I'm more so stayed on 95. My second, third, and fourth year than I did flying to Texas, driving to Indiana, or let's see, where else did I drive? Driving to wherever. So yeah,
I
I finally figured out that 95 is 20 minutes that way. So I stayed on that a pretty good bit.
I've always thought that recruiters could do a great travel guide because you know where all the value stops. Not the best food, not quite the cheapest prices, but where the best value is, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Me and Wawa became very good friends when I would go up to New Jersey.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
And don't ask us for the best hotels to stay in either, because you're finding the best deal,
yep.
not necessarily the best place, but the best deal. Um, yeah, so yeah, we may not be great on hotel recommendations, especially with our recruiting budget, but rental cars, fast food stops, and Wawa. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're pretty good at that.
there you go. Did you find you started going back to the same high school programs to get players?
Yeah, so it's more so the area
Ah,
than the program. So with baseball, it's a little different. So little story. So every baseball travel team, not every one of them, but a good amount come to play in Atlanta, Georgia for a week at a time. A week at a time, upcoming seniors play. The next week, upcoming juniors play. The next week, upcoming sophomores play. So you kind of get an idea of where these kids are. With North Carolina Central, we weren't very, we weren't ahead a lot. So because our bread and butter were those guys that have gotten looked over. Um, so we'd watch them then, get names for upcoming seniors or upcoming juniors. Okay, where are they playing this fall? Okay, they're playing in New Jersey or in New Jersey for a week in October. He's playing it. These other ones are in South Florida. Okay, I'm gonna go there for a week, and while the junior college, circuit is going on in Lakeland, I'm going to drive down to Fort Myers and watch this guy. And then I'm going to drive over to Miami and watch this guy. Then I'm going to drive up to, West Palm and watch this guy. Then I'm going to 12 hours home. So,
In an average weekend for those rising senior, rising junior tournaments, how many games will you sit and watch?
um, the Atlanta, and this is the worst. So they start at 8.
Jeez.
And it's in 2 hour 8 a.m.
Yep.
And it's in 2 hour increments all the way until I think the last game starts at 8 p.m. Well, in the there are turf fields. So if if a game gets delayed, well, those games that were supposed to start at 8 are now starting at 10 or 12. I've been out there at 2:30 in the morning watching one of our players,
Wow.
our recruits.
Uh,
So yeah, and then the next day, guess what? Starts again at 8 a.m. So yeah, that's the worst. Atlanta's probably the worst. It's there's no canceling. It's just delayed.
yeah. And
So those summer storms are
yeah.
yeah.
When you go to a tournament like that, obviously you have a list of people, of players
Mhm.
will be there, so you're checking in on
Mhm.
them. But you're
Mhm.
watching some guy come to the plate and you've never heard of
Mhm.
him, you've never seen him. What kind of
Yep.
things catch your eye to make you write a note down about a player?
Yeah, I'll give you a story. So I had a break. When there's a break, you don't leave. You just go find another game to watch. So we had our pitching guy was from New Jersey. He's from Pennsylvania, but his parents now live in New Jersey. Stayed with them a lot when I went up there. So there was this team from Pennsylvania playing, and there's a pitcher on the mound, and his first pitch was, there's a velocity, there's got to be a minimum, you know. Um, there has to be a minimum. So he was like 88, 89, 90, 91 the first inning, and I was looking, doing some research whenever to the dugout. Hey, is this kid committed anywhere? No, no, no. Well, they were playing this, and it's always good to get the competition. They were playing this team from Georgia who had, this guy going to Vanderbilt, this guy going to UNC, this guy going to this SEC school, this guy going to that ACC school, just loaded. And he shut them down for 5 or 6 innings.
Wow.
So I immediately after that game, I said, Coach, we got to get this guy. Um, so that was in what was it? That was in July before his senior year. He's from Pennsylvania. Let's see, at the middle of August, he's pitching again. Our head coach goes up to New Jersey to watch him, and his velo is not as good as it was. Breaking ball is still good, but velo is not good. I'm like, Coach, he shut this team down for 6 innings. They had 1 run, 3 hits. He struck out 8. Blah blah blah. This, really good breaking ball, really good fastball. Um, and our head coach was like, okay, we'll throw some money at him. He wanted to be a freshman All American and the MEAC freshman of the year. So, was dumb luck probably that I was there, that he was pitching, and nobody else was watching the game because the other team, everybody was committed. But we wound up signing him, came to campus, and he was a freshman All American.
Nice. Well, you took full credit for that, right?
Absolutely not. No, no. Yeah, you can. you can write down what they throw velocity wise. You can write down what they, how their breaking ball is, but you can't write down character.
Right. Yeah.
You just, yeah, you're just hoping it hits.
But if you're the
you
first
know,
one to see him, don't you get credit?
I've never take that credit. So
You
no,
wouldn't. No, you would
yeah,
not.
no, no. It's tough from Amish country in Pennsylvania. It never got over 50 degrees when he pitched during his high school senior year, or
Oh,
whenever he played baseball at all. Just in the mountains of Pennsylvania, and it doesn't get really hot up there. So, you know, it got a little hot down here. And he started hitting 93, 94.
okay.
So,
All
yeah,
right. We'll go.
he's a pretty good player for us.
One of my other favorite questions to ask people that are from a small town, which I'm not from. So I love small town stories. And you
Mm-hmm.
are from Madison, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
As of yesterday, the population was around 27,000. I don't think it was that big
Wow.
when you were there, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
How many stoplights?
Well, Madison's kind of it's kind of growing. So it's a suburb of Jackson. So there's more than you think. So, it's not a, stoplight and a post office and a gas station, and then that's it. Now, where I played junior college baseball, that's exactly what it was. We didn't even have a McDonald's in the town. If that
Ooh,
tells you where far, where, yeah, yeah. It was a stoplight, a gas station, and post office was there, and the junior college was there. So yeah, I've been and lived in those. I think the population was about, well, during non-hunting season, it was probably 1,000, and during hunting season, it probably grew by 5,000. So
what town was that?
it's called Moorhead, Mississippi.
What
Yeah,
junior college was it?
Mississippi Delta Community College.
Oh, I got
It's
that
in the
right
middle
here.
of
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
in the
right.
middle of Greenwood, Mississippi, and Greenville,
Gotcha.
Mississippi.
All
In
right.
the middle of absolute nowhere. I
Yep.
loved it.
All right. You got the only thing to focus on was baseball, right?
Yep,
Nice.
yep. That's it. That's it.
All
It
right. So
smelled.
in
Yeah.
Madison, was
Hmm.
it small enough where when you did something you probably weren't supposed to do, or you were somewhere you weren't supposed to be, did it take long for news to get back to your house before you got home?
No, 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 no. That's small town. Yeah, small
Okay.
town talk that travels fast,
Yep.
faster than Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yep.
travels fast. Yes, sir. So Madison at the time when I grew up, I went to the private school. There was a public school there, and they were the highest classifications in Mississippi. And now there's another public school that's 10 minutes away. It's also the highest classification in Mississippi. So it's
Wow.
not, it's small compared to Raleigh,
Mm.
but it's not too small. But yes, word travels fast. Yes, sir.
Do you have a story to share with us about the news that beat you home and you had to decide, do they know it yet by the question they asked me?
Whew. Um, you just want one story?
We'll start with one, which one you want to
It
share.
was it was it was usually high school parties. It was usually those. Coming back at 12 o'clock. Or curfew, whenever that was. Had to inform my parents of where I'd been, and yeah, I would mention that. They were like, "Yeah, we knew, that so and so was having a party, and just curious if you would tell us the truth."
Yep.
So yeah, it was more so of yeah, high school
Yeah.
get-togethers on Friday and Saturday nights, especially after football games on Friday nights.
Oh, yeah. Then you got good training from your parents on how to phrase questions to Grace when your daughter, when she comes home, when she's old enough to go
Oh,
out. You learn how to phrase those questions to see, they gonna lie to me or are they gonna fall on their sword? So yeah.
that's right. That's right. I don't know. She'd probably be a pretty good agent. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Daddy's heart has been stolen. So,
Yes.
I'm not. there might be a little leadway. Yeah, I may what I gave to my parents.
Yeah.
They said what goes around comes
Yeah,
around. So
yeah,
I got it coming.
yeah. Have, you have an you have a brother, right?
Younger
Okay.
brother,
All
5 years
right.
younger.
All right. So, does he have any kids yet?
He has two boys.
Okay.
Hayes is 3. Uh, he'll be 4 in June, the end of June, and Chase is he was born in January, so he is 5 months.
Cool.
So yeah, he has two boys.
All right. Have you had a discussion about the first time a car date comes to pick up Grace and the cool dad lines you're gonna throw out to that kid to scare the daylights out of him?
Oh no. So me and my brother. So my first word was ball, and we just played sports my whole life. So our conversations are, how's is Hayes going to be left-handed? Is he going to be right-handed? Is Grace going to be right-handed? Is he going to be left-handed? If Hayes is left-handed, he can't play the infield. He can only play the outfield and first base and pitch. But he could pitch as the left-hander.
Yeah.
No, those are our conversations. It's never a picking up a car date. It's always sports. Always sports.
Then her first car date better be a baseball player, right?
That's right. That's right. I will have pulled his driver's license before he comes in and picks my child up. So
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. You could
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I can do a lot of background check.
Yeah.
A lot of background check.
Son, have
Yeah,
a
there's
seat.
a whole lot of
Yep. Son, have a
yeah,
seat.
there's a
I got a
lot of
question
social
for you.
media out there too.
Yep.
That's right. There's a lot of social media out there too, Mike. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And here's a whole nother podcast. People,
yeah,
they post their whole lives on Facebook and they end up putting themselves in the corner when they have to answer something or defend something. It's like, but I just saw it
right.
on your Facebook page. I know you weren't
That's right.
sick.
Mike,
You were at a party. You were at a
yeah,
Kentucky Derby party. I know you weren't sick.
that's right. That's right. I am so glad that I did not have social media when I was growing up.
Yep.
And I'm sure you did too back in the 40s. But
That's
yeah,
it. Yep. Yep.
so so glad I didn't have social media because I would probably be yeah, not good.
Yep. Well, we're just happy Al Gore had not invented the internet in the 40s back when I was growing up. So that did help.
That's right.
So you ended up getting your bachelor's degree from Delta State. All right.
Yes.
So here's my connection to that school in a weird way. As a Tennessee Lady Vols fan, basketball mainly, Delta State in the mid 70s was the powerhouse school in a teeny
Hmm.
tiny little town in Mississippi. They won 3 national championships and they were beating everybody.
That's right. That's right.
Uh,
Tough people.
Yep. Was that what got you interested in the school, or was that why Delta State over the others, and were there other choices?
Um, no, there were not other choices. So I was where I went to junior college was about 30 minutes from where Delta State is. Delta State's in Cleveland, Mississippi, which is also in the Delta. It's a town. It's a little bit bigger town. The population of Delta State at the time when I went was not as big as some junior college populations, but they had a really good teaching, a really good education school. The head coach was, I mean,
Smart.
awesome, hard nosed,
Yep.
hard nosed. But it was somewhere where I wanted to go, even if baseball did not work out. That's where I wanted to go to finish my undergrad degree.
Yeah, and here Margaret Wade was the women's coach back then, and here's how good she was. The, premier women's college basketball player every year gets awarded the Wade Trophy. You know
Wow.
you're good when they name a trophy after you. That's the
That's right.
impact you had on a sport.
That's right.
So what was the best thing about going to Madison Ridgeland Academy for high school?
Um, First, we talked about Jesus openly. So, it was a Christian school, it was a private school. So, you were taught Christian values from day one. So that was probably the best. Second best, I played everything that I could think of until they started overlapping with each other. So I played, let's see, in eighth grade, it was football, baseball, soccer, basketball, track, all of it. In ninth grade, I wanted to start focusing on three, so I cut out soccer and track and just did baseball, basketball, and football. Then in 10th grade, I did baseball and football. One didn't want to play basketball anymore because it tied into baseball season. So I was done with basketball. Um, and then my senior year, I did track so I could get out of school through the shot put. Yeah, but was not interested in attending school anymore. So
Yep.
anytime track let out at 9 a.m. for a track meet, yeah, I was would throw a couple shot puts, not place, and then go to baseball practice.
Be the happiest kid that day, weren't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So baseball has always been your true love.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yes.
What else could you have gone to a junior college to play of all this other sports you played?
Well, football, it's a big man sport, so I couldn't have done, and I'm slow, so I couldn't have done that. Golf, I'm still not very good at golf, so couldn't have done that. Basketball, too short, so couldn't have done that. I think I think I limited myself to one sport, and that was probably about it.
So you hit your one and done, right?
I hit my one and done.
Alright.
Tennis, I mean, there's a little bit of tennis legacy, I guess, in my family. But in tennis, you have to hit it over the net. If you hit it over the
Yeah,
fence, it doesn't
yeah.
count.
That
It's not a home run.
that
So I
that
wasn't interested in that.
yeah.
Yeah, but my grandmother's in the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame as a tennis player.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Where did she play?
Um, she played all the way up until she was like 75. And she could beat the she would be she'd be 68, I'd be 13, and she'd beat me, 6-0, 6-0. It wasn't even a question. Like I could never beat her. But she played at the University of Mississippi for women. So yeah, she played there, and then she continued to play. She never played, professionally or anything like that, but she would play, on the side and beat everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a 13-year-old, I realized that this 68-year-old grandma is a lot better than I am. So yeah,
That ended your tennis career, right?
my tennis career. Me
Alright.
and my brother, let's see, I was 13. He was 5 years younger, so he was 8 at the time. We would play doubles against her, and she'd still beat us.
Yeah.
So because she had a bigger court to work with, and we had a small one, and yeah, she was
Yeah.
quick. She'd run us to death.
Yeah. Alright, so Mississippi Delta Community College is where you played baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember your last at bat?
Oof, my last at bat. Um, Sophomore year. Who were we playing? Um, I think I got out. Um,
Who did you play that game?
oh, let's see. Man.
Was your team any good? We'll go with that.
Okay, okay. All right. So my freshman year,
Alright.
speaking of, yeah, we were okay. We made it into the conference tournament, but we made a run in the conference tournament. Ended up losing in the finals, but we made a huge run against the team with a lot of Division I baseball players. Yeah, I mean, I could go on for about 30 minutes and tell you the stories, but yeah, we were down 11-1 at the second game of the day at midnight. I remember the announcer on the PA announcer. He said, "Happy Mother's Day. It's 12:01, and we're still in the seventh inning."
There you go.
Yeah, we were making a comeback. It was fun. Yeah, I remember that game like it was yesterday.
Well, good.
But
Right.
yeah, so my freshman year, my sophomore year, we changed. We had a lot of new players come in. Didn't gel. really well. A lot of more talented players. So yeah, we were just okay. We had changed divisions. I think we went from Division 1 to Division 2, or vice versa. Harder to get in the conference tournament. Didn't gel very well. But yeah, so freshman year,
All right. Something you always
yeah,
remember, right? You can brag to Grace about
always.
that. In my day, yeah. So,
Mhm.
all right. So, real quick before we go, we've been putting Neal's phone number on the screen during the show. So, please give him a call, even if it's just to ask a couple questions. So, when the show is over and people have time to think about their policy, what's the first thing when they pull up their policy or pull it out that they should look for?
Liability limits. Always liability limits. A lot of people get minimum state limits, which is 30,000 per incident, 60,000 per accident, and $25,000 worth of property damage. There's a lot of vehicles out there that are worth more than $25,000. So if you hit one, a vehicle that's over $25,000, you total it, and the total is $50,000. $25,000 is coming out of your pocket. So
Right. Right.
I would definitely look at liability limits. That's the biggest thing.
I like it. Yep.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
folks, and that's why you should call a local agent because they will give you tips like that. Neal, love the show today. You know, you and I have talked baseball. We'll probably talk more baseball. Love the stories, but I know you enjoy helping folks. So keep up the good work on that. And with Carpex, I know we'll see each other at the social tonight. Will you be there?
Yes, sir.
All right. I will see you then. But enjoyed the show today. And folks, take a look, please take a look at your coverage. You may think you're good, but like Neal said, you hit the wrong car and all of a sudden you're paying out of pocket for a long, long time sometimes. So
Mhm.
appreciate the tips on that, Neal. Good luck with insurance and 5-year-old Grace and T-ball. Glad you're not strategizing yet on that, but I know that day will come, won't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Yes, it will.
yeah.
Yes, it will.
So anyways, enjoyed the show. We will see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.